Cheeky, your eye looks so good. All right, awesome. Thanks, Tammy. So, as you can see, Eden, it has to wear a cone. At least until her recheck, which will be in 10 to 14 days. So she has to wear a cone during that time. She does not like it. You hopefully can see down her left side, almost her whole left side is shaved. And that's where the incision is. I don't want to pick her up because she is still a little painful, but sort of where her shoulder is, a little bit further down, like the top of her rib cage. You're okay. That's all right, Eden. So right here is where the incision is. That's all right, Eden. The incision is stitched up, but doesn't need any covering. It doesn't need any medication on it. She's not on any antibiotics. So it's actually pretty easy to take care of her during recovery. She's on some pain meds and that's it. So once she gets used to this cone, it'll be a little better. Yes, you probably missed it. When I first brought her in, I said I've already ordered her another cone. The one that I have was too big for her. So we just need to keep her from, biting at that incision. But otherwise, it's a pretty easy recovery. The CT scan showed that she does have severe hydrocephalus, which was very surprising to me, and I think all of us, because clinically she does not act like she has severe hydro. She never has. She got here when she was 5 weeks old and never really had any severe hydro signs. She's back here using a scratcher. So, very surprising how severe her hydro is. But she was evaluated by the neurologist at the hospital, and they don't feel that it's an emergency to treat her for the hydro while she's recovering right now. But that is something that I'll follow up with about. What was surprising to me Was from the head CT, they diagnosed her with, I'm going to spell this because I don't know how to pronounce this, bilateral, which means both left and right. Phthisis, it's spelled PHTHISIS, bulbi, BULBI. And that's related to her eyes. And they have written that they both have this phthisis bulbi, although the right is worse than the left. And from what I read about it, it's when the eye shrinks, like shrivels up from being essentially inactive. So whether it was some kind of infection or trauma, we knew from her right eye that that was the case. Her eye disappeared. It shriveled up. We knew that. We knew that she has some leftover tissue that needs to be removed at some point, and that her right eye needs to be stitched closed. But according to CT, the left eye also has this shriveling of the eye. And so that was news to me. From what I read, there's still a possibility that she could have some sight in that eye, but it sounded like it will continue to shrivel up. I don't know. They didn't really they didn't explain that part at all. I just was very surprised to see that. So she has to we have to follow up with our eye doctor anyway. So I'm sure that after she has an actual eye doctor appointment, we'll learn a little bit more about what's going on with that left eye. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if she can see or not. We haven't known that anyway. Like with the answer is still the same. We don't know. That's been the same since she was 6 weeks old. But yeah, I don't know exactly what's going to happen with that left eye. And that's really it. There wasn't anything else remarkable about her CT scan. The things noted, obviously, from her CT were hydrocephalus, the eye thing, and then obviously confirming that she had the persistent right aortic arch. If you hadn't heard, so if this is the esophagus, right, going down from her head down to her belly, there are two aortic arches. There's one that's down here that's called the fourth aortic arch. That's the most common arch that blood vessel that affects the esophagus. So in PRAA, it's usually that fourth arch that wraps around the esophagus and causes the stricture. So it causes food as it's coming down. There suddenly is a very tight, thin tunnel for it to try to get through, and it can't fit. Eden's stricture was up in the 5th arch, which is higher. That's why I had talked about her needing, you know, a more rare form of PRAA surgery, because her stricture was actually in the 5th arch, which is up closer to her neck. So, you know, that just makes her a little unique, but it wasn't a severe stricture. So that's why I think we saw that, you know, she's been managing really well on the diet, the soft food diet she's on. We haven't seen regurgitation. We haven't seen her choking, because the actual condition that she had, the stricture itself, was not as bad as, you know, other cats have had it. So, so that, you know, that's good. The other good thing too is that, so what happens many times when cats are living with PRAA is their esophagus, to compensate for the stricture, expands and widens, as food collects in there, it stretches out. And so when you fix the PRAA and remove that stricture, sometimes the esophagus takes a while to resume its normal width, and it stays stretched out for a while. And so when an esophagus is stretched out like that and wider than it's supposed to be, it's called megaesophagus, where mega E is the short version of that nickname for that. So when a cat has megaesophagus, we've had cats here with megacolon. We've had at least 2 have megacolon here. It's a similar thing where the colon is so wide that the muscles are not able to pull that poop down. You know, it's just too wide. The poop's in the middle and it doesn't even touch the edges. Well, that's megaesophagus, is just the same condition, just up at the top of their body. And with megaesophagus, they're not able to move that food down into the stomach. So there's this, you know, kind of situation where they can have PRAA and have it fixed, but then they continue to have megaesophagus. They continue to have problems with regurgitation and swallowing food and things like that. And you never know what's going to happen until after surgery. All of that is to say that Eden's imaging shows that her esophagus didn't really stretch out much in the last 5 months. And so she should not have much trouble with any kind of ongoing problems with her esophagus, you know, as far as swallowing and moving things down to, hold on, let me get her in the bathroom, getting her food down to her stomach. So, sorry, that was like a really long way of saying that. But that's all to say, it's really good news for her. Yeah, skunk had megacolon. Yeah. So, so I feel really hopeful for Eden. I feel really hopeful that this is a one and done procedure. And, you know, that she's fixed up now. So she'll continue on the same food they've been eating, the prescription food, high calorie food with some water added in. She'll continue that for at least the next 2 weeks until her recheck. And as we continue to have rechecks, they're going to start taking, they take an x-ray, they see how the esophagus looks, and then we slowly start introducing her to some other foods. All right. I'm going to go downstairs. I got to get some stuff ready for the new snuggler. We have a new snuggler. I asked her to come a little later. I asked her to come at 6:30 because I knew I wanted to have time to get Eden back and go over stuff with you guys. Eden's going to be a little growly. She gave a little attitude to the vet staff. She's opinionated about things, and wearing the cone, she's not happy, so she's grumbly. But they want her to stay as chill as possible over the next 2 weeks, so they gave me permission to medicate her with some sedative if she gets too rambunctious. So we'll see. Oh my God, look at you go. Cheeky. Oh, you're okay. Cheeky. Oh my God. Alright. Yeah, she's just growly. She'll be growly, that's alright. Alright. You'll get some nice fresh food with the new snuggler. Let's get you out. Let's make sure everything's in here. Bowls, food. Alright. I'm gonna put a regular bowl of water in here. One of the things that's really important is that Eden's incision doesn't get wet, and this bowl gets knocked over too often, so I don't want a chance of her incision getting wet. All right, that's over now.